What is Adrenochrome? Welcome back. I am Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and this is the Entertainment or Ritual series, where we look at Hollywood, professional sports, and the music industry to decode what is really going on. Let's take a moment and go deeper into one of the most controversial and misunderstood topics floating in the underground of collective conversation: adrenochrome. If you've been following everything we've discussed so far about adrenaline, fear, emotional energy harvesting, and the architecture of ritual, then this is the natural next question. Because adrenochrome sits at the exact intersection of biology, energy, and ritualized power dynamics. And while the name gets tossed around like an internet buzzword, most people have no idea what it actually is, where the concept came from, or why it matters. So let's start with the basics. Adrenochrome is a real biochemical compound. It's created in the human body when epinephrine, also known as adrenaline, undergoes oxidation. In plain terms, when your body experiences intense fear, adrenaline is released, and if that adrenaline breaks down under certain conditions, one of the byproducts is adrenochrome. It's not fiction, it's medical fact. In the mid-20th century, scientists began studying adrenochrome for its potential links to mental illness, particularly schizophrenia. Some researchers believed it could produce hallucinogenic or psychotic effects when present in high concentrations, while others dismissed it as a harmless metabolic byproduct. It even made an appearance in small-scale experiments using animal models and briefly as a research chemical. But the mythology of adrenochrome, what most people know the word for, didn't come from textbooks. It came from a blend of fiction, speculation, and symbolism. In 1954, Aldous Huxley's The Doors of Perception explored the nature of consciousness and referenced substances that alter perception. Later, Hunter S. Thompson made adrenochrome infamous in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, describing it as a drug harvested from the adrenal glands of living humans, especially children, during states of extreme fear. He claimed it was the most powerful high on Earth. Was he being metaphorical, satirical, or revealing something in plain sight? The answer depends on who you ask. Fast forward to the internet age. The adrenochrome theory has evolved into something much darker. In many conspiracy circles, adrenochrome is believed to be the ultimate elite currency, a substance derived from the blood of terrified children, used by global elites to stay youthful, energized, and psychically enhanced. According to this theory, trauma and terror are not accidental side effects. They're required ingredients. The purer the fear, the more potent the extraction. The darker the ritual, the more powerful the energy. This idea was popularized heavily in the 2010s, especially through forums like 4chan, Reddit, and later amplified through social media movements like QAnon. In these narratives, underground facilities, occult rituals, and celebrity involvement are recurring themes. And while many of these claims are unproven or speculative, they hit a nerve, because they speak to something people instinctively feel but can't articulate, that there are systems in place that feed on fear. Whether that's literal or energetic, the feeling persists. Now pause. Let's ask a deeper question. Not, is this real? But why does this idea exist in the first place? Why has a biochemical byproduct of adrenaline become the centerpiece of a global theory about hidden power structures, dark rituals, and energetic farming? Why does this idea refuse to die, despite ridicule, censorship, and mainstream dismissal? Because even if you strip away the wildest details, the core concept touches truth. Fear produces energy, and that energy can be valuable to people, to systems, to entities, to mechanisms we don't always see. When a human is terrified, their body releases more than just adrenaline. It becomes energetically volatile. It emits a signal. It enters a state of vulnerability, transformation, and permeability. That's the real currency. Not just the chemical, but the state that creates it. The body becomes a ritual chamber. The fear becomes an offering. And if that state can be artificially induced, over and over, in individuals or crowds, then you have something very close to a modern ritual system disguised as entertainment, education, or culture. This is where our previous discussions come full circle. Roller coasters, haunted houses, trauma cycles in media, war coverage, disaster loops. These are not accidents. They are engineered emotional spikes, and many of them are designed to trigger the exact kind of biochemical surge that creates high adrenaline states. You don't need a needle to extract adrenochrome if you can pull the energy it represents from the surface. And if someone, somewhere, was harvesting that compound in physical form, wouldn't they use the same techniques we already see every day, just behind closed doors? Let's also take this to the metaphysical level. In many spiritual systems, especially ancient shamanic traditions and mystery schools, it was understood that blood carried life force. Blood rituals were not just about sacrifice. They were about exchange. Life for power, fear for vision, pain for favor. The alchemy of turning suffering into energy has been around for millennia. What we now call adrenochrome could simply be the modern term for what ancient societies always knew, that the body in pain becomes a portal. Here's where we invite you to think. Not panic, not blindly accept, but to observe. Why are so many elite systems obsessed with youth, energy, and longevity? Why are so many images in pop culture littered with blood symbolism, eye symbolism, and ritual motifs? Why do so many whistleblowers, from government insiders to ex-Hollywood players, reference the same patterns? Whether literal or symbolic, the patterns persist. What we're saying is this: you don't need to decide today whether adrenochrome is physically harvested by elites. What you should start noticing is the recurrence of the same themes: fear, ritual, energy, and control. The repetition of adrenaline loops, the ritualization of trauma, the normalization of fear as entertainment, the emotional spike economy, and the constant hijacking of your nervous system. In a world that profits from your panic, thrives on your stress, and quietly studies your biometric feedback, what wouldn't be monetized? The point is not to make you paranoid. The point is to make you fluent. Because whether the adrenochrome theory is a symbol, a smokescreen, or a hidden reality, the principle stands: your fear produces power. And that power goes somewhere. Ask better questions, watch the patterns, study the rituals, and most importantly, protect your state. Because in a world built on invisible harvesting, your awareness is the firewall. Hi, I'm Adeline Atlas, 11x published author, and what you just watched was only a taste of what's inside the Truth series, where we go all the way down the rabbit hole. If you're the kind of person who's always asking bigger questions, who knows there's more to this world than what we've been told, then this is your invitation to the series that was built for you. Inside the Truth series, you'll get full access to 6 mind-blowing sub-series designed to wake up your highest intelligence and decode the matrix we live in. 1. Locate the truth. Learn how to actually research, not just what to search, but how to verify, cross-reference, read declassified files, and protect your own mind from weaponized misinformation. This is truth-seeking decoded. 2. The Mandela effect. Are we shifting timelines? Why do so many people remember a different past? We break down the most bizarre, undeniable examples of reality glitches and what they tell us about consciousness and control. 3. Law is magic. Law is not what you think it is. From word spells to maritime law and hidden contracts, we uncover how legal systems use language like a wand and how to stop being tricked by fine print that binds you without consent. 4. Entertainment or ritual. The Hollywood and music industries are not just for entertainment. From Super Bowl rituals to Grammy stage symbolism, we decode what's really being shown, who it serves, and why mass consciousness is the target. 5. Decoding dystopia. Ever wondered why dystopian fiction feels prophetic? In this subseries, we decode popular films and books, Hunger Games, 1984, Black Mirror, to reveal the hidden blueprints and predictive programming behind the plot. 6. MK Ultra plus mind control programs. This one gets deep. From real MK Ultra documents to modern symbolism in media, we expose how mind control operates in plain sight and how to free yourself from manipulation you didn't even know was happening. And that's just the beginning. If this resonated with you, click the links below and join us inside the Full Truth series, because the more you know, the harder you are to control. This is your awakening. We don't just ask questions, we find answers. Let's go all the way down the rabbit hole together.